Hey, what's going on, guys? Quick disclaimer before we jump in. Today's video will be criticizing certain elements of Pokemon Legends Arceus. However, criticism levied against the game will be constructive in nature and will be made with the intention of taking Pokemon Legends and its formula to the next level. Personally, I think Pokemon Legends Arceus is a good game, but not perfect. I made an entire video linked below talking about the features that I'd like to see come from Legends and be implemented into Generation 9. And in that video, I did praise certain aspects of the game because honestly, it's a lot of fun. Anyways, there are other aspects of the game that I think, if fully fleshed out or improved upon, could have made the game even better. And even if these changes won't be implemented now in this game, I would like to see any future Legends installments, should they exist, adopt them. That said, whether you enjoyed the game, didn't enjoy the game, or were kind of so-so on it, I think there will be something for everyone in this video, so definitely sit back, relax, and let's dive right in. Okay, so I'm going to talk about some of the common complaints about Pokemon Legends Arceus and sort of break down how I think they could be improved upon. The one thing I hear about the most is the graphics, and you guys know me. I'm not someone who puts an extreme emphasis on graphics, nor do I think graphics should dictate whether or not a game is good. However, the game does have some textures and areas that I do think could have a little more polish. I defended the claim in the past that the game looks like an N64 game. I definitely think that's exaggerating a little bit, but I do think that the game does look a little bit outdated, and if they were to adopt a more modern art style, it wouldn't have to be something crazy. I'm thinking something maybe a little more similar to the Monster Hunter Stories series. The games are not hyper realistic, which is definitely good. It's more cartoony and bright, and while they're not the best graphics on the market, they're definitely nice to look at. It's no secret that Pokemon Legends was inspired by Monster Hunter Stories, and there are definitely a lot of parallels, and I think that's good. Monster Hunter Stories and its sequel were great games, and I think that Pokemon and other monster taming games should definitely take inspiration from each other. All it does is improve the genre. So yeah, I'm not going to dwell too much on the graphics. I'm going to be honest with you guys, graphics didn't bug me personally, but of course, they can definitely be improved. Now, next common complaint I hear a lot about is the world feeling empty. Now, the idea that the world is empty is true, but also false, depending on how you look at it. So in terms of Pokemon populating the world, I reject the idea that the world is empty there. There are lots of Pokemon scattered all over the world, and you don't have to go very far to find something. That said, it's not empty by that means, but I do think what a lot of people are upset about is that there's no settlements or any sort of intricate cave systems or camps or anything like that. And I do have to agree, in that aspect, I would like to see some more. I imagine if a future Legends title takes place in perhaps more modern times, let's say, I don't know, Pokemon Legends Mewtwo that takes place like a couple decades before the events of Pokemon Red and Blue, and you're helping out Oak in discovering the Pokedex, in there it'd be really cool to have like a bunch of cities kind of scattered around with a big open area, kind of like a lot of 3D Zelda games. Let's use Twilight Princess, for example. The game is separated into various provinces, which in this hypothetical Legends game would function as the segments for the game's progression. You'd have towns with maybe gyms scattered throughout the areas, and maybe instead of collecting stars in order to rank up, you have to have a certain amount of gym badges to proceed. They could also have smaller towns that never really existed in the games. For example, in the anime, they're always going to these weird towns that don't actually exist in those regions, and for obvious reasons, the old school Pokemon games and even modern ones can't include as many towns as would exist in an actual country. But I think in a more open world setting, you can definitely have some more small settlements, much more so than you could with the older Pokemon formula. Like I said, I'd also like to see more intricate cave systems scattered throughout the game and Pokemon living within them. They could even do something similar with, and I'm going to mention it again, Monster Hunter Stories 2, where they have the dens, and these dens could appear randomly and have different rarities, and obviously the rarities would coincide with which Pokemon are within them. Perhaps the rarest types of caves could have like increased shiny odds and stuff like that. The Monster Hunter Stories dens, of course, have their own mechanics, like having eggs that need to be captured and stuff like that. I don't think Pokemon needs to take it that far with the inspiration, but they could definitely situate it in such a way that it works for Pokemon. Another cool idea would be to scatter some like collectibles, chests, and stuff like that. But all in all, I think just adding more things other than Pokemon could really help make you want to explore certain areas of the world. You could have a town that sells special items, maybe you could have some dungeons, and oh, an example of one of these could be like that one dungeon from the Wind Waker that has like 50 levels and you have to fight through all the enemy swarms. They could have like a couple big things like that scattered throughout the map, and then a lot of like smaller stuff as well. Okay, now I just want to talk about some of my personal, I guess you could say, gripes, but more like, this could be better. It's not bad, but it could be better. Firstly, and I don't really know how this would work, but I get the feeling when playing that going into turn-based battles feels a little bit like a full stop when dealing with wild encounters. Like for most of the game, you're rolling around trying to sneak up on these guys, and then when you're spotted, you have to throw a Pokeball and just engage in normal turn-based combat, which for me feels like a drastic change of pace. The stealth mechanic definitely needs a little bit of work as well. You get spotted behind like like foliage and rocks and stuff like that, but I don't think this would have been as big of a deal if they changed how the capturing works a little bit when you're in battle. I was originally thinking that maybe you could have it so you can actively throw Pokeballs while the battle is going on, but that would cause a lot of issues. Like, what if the enemy's attacking and you throw a Pokeball? What if you're attacking? I think it would cause more complications. But I was also thinking perhaps they could have done some sort of AI-based combat where the turn-based combat still exists, but you have the option of like sending out your Pokemon, making it do a simple attack, and then reverting back to the ball, sort of like what you do with berries and mining. This way you could perhaps do a little bit of damage, then try to capture it in real time. I don't like how Pokemon can't be captured once they spot you. I think the fact that they can attack you is enough incentive not to want to get spotted, and the capture bonuses for hitting them in the back and stuff like that further perpetuate that idea. So maybe they could have it so like while the Pokemon's attacking, you can't catch it, but like in between attacks while you're dodging and stuff, you could throw Pokeballs. So yeah, I definitely do think it feels a little off when I end up in turn-based combat, because oftentimes I don't feel like engaging in that. I just feel like running away and coming back, because the battle just feels like such a staunch change of pace. I don't really know. Let me know what you guys think about that in the comments. Do you also feel like there's a sudden like just change when you switch between capturing something and then battling? Do you think there should be some sort of like action-based combat or what? Let me know what you guys think. Okay, the final thing I wanted to talk about is the first hour or two of the game. I definitely feel like there should be a skip tutorial option, and even if there isn't, a lot of the tutorial stuff needs to be condensed. For example, you basically have to go through 2 capture tutorials. I feel like they could have just combined them together. Either get rid of the one where you have to catch the starters, or just do it so that the starters can attack you, so that you get kind of like what you get from the Shinx training. One of my biggest complaints with recent Pokemon titles, especially the last 2 generations, is the amount of times you're interrupted and forced into a cutscene. Thankfully, this is only a problem with the first bit of the game, but it still can be quite annoying. But yeah, guys, those are sort of my critiques and how I'd like to see Pokemon Legends improve for the future. All in all, I'm enjoying the game despite any of the flaws I mentioned earlier, and I hope Pokemon continues to improve moving forward. The game isn't for everyone. I know some people find the gameplay loop boring, and that's okay. I'm not one of those people, I've got to be honest with you guys. I am in fact enjoying the game for what it is, and while a lot of people are bringing up the context of Pokemon being the biggest media franchise in the world, I'm trying to dissect this game as a game itself. If you want to talk about all the things that should be done because of the context behind who's developing the game, I definitely understand that, but I do think that's a completely different discussion to have. For me right now, I'm compartmentalizing this as just another game to play, and currently I'm enjoying it. Let me know what you guys think about some of these critiques. I'm sure there's other aspects to the game that I likely missed, the same as there were aspects of the game that I kind of missed when I was talking about the stuff I thought the game does right. So yeah, definitely make sure to fill in the gaps in the comments with both your praises and criticisms, and as always, if you are a Pokemon fan or a fan of the monster taming genre in general, definitely subscribe to the channel because I put out new monster taming videos every single day. You could also follow me on Twitter, GymLeaderEd, and check out our Discord. All links in the description. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.